So, who are the students vacancy on the right? So when I interact with the students, my connectivity is quite better with the students. And when I connect with the parents, or who are not students, then my connectivity will be better on that side. Thank you very much. आदरणीय विसा होस्वा के मंडल આજે જે ઇવેન્ટ ઓર્ગેનાઇઝ કરી છે પ્રશંસાને પાત્ર છે. ઇન્ડિવિજ્યુઅલ લેવલ ઉપર આપણને સેલ્ફ મોટિવેશન અથવા તો ગૂગલ ગુરુ થ્રુ ઘણી બધી જાણકારી મેળવતા હોઈએ છીએ, પણ જોઈન્ટલી યુનાઇટેડલી વિચાર વિમર્શ કરવાનો અથવા તો કોઈકને સાંભળી અને પછી જિંદગીનો પથ નક્કી કરવા માટે જે ઓપોર્ચ્યુનિટી ઓસ્વા યુવક મંડળ બેંગ્લોરે આપી છે ધન્યવાદને પાત્ર છે. આદરણીય વિશા ઓસ્વા સમાજના પ્રમુખ શ્રી જયેશભાઈ ઉપસ્થિત રહી આપ સર્વેનો ઉત્સાહમાં જે વધારો કર્યો છે એ બદલ એમનો પણ આભાર. હાલાની સમાજની કારોબારી અને યુવક મંડળ તથા હોદ્દેદારો સાથે મળી કોર્ડિનેશન કરી અને આ ઇવેન્ટ ગોઠવે છે એ બદલ એમનો પણ આભાર. Now let me start with the students. How is the job today? Great. A student will always have the high level of jobs. First, before I say anything, I would like to know from the students, what do you think what is higher education? Can somebody answer it? What is higher education? Robert. At student level, it is very important. You should know what I wanted to study, what I wanted to pursue for my career, where I wanted to go, and why I should go. The question of why, when you start answering why I should do this, then you will start finding the solution. Unless and until you ask yourself, why should I pursue CA, or why should I go to IIM, or why should I go to IIT? When you question yourself, why should I do this, you start thinking so much. But if you don't ask the question, you don't get anything. You don't know anything, and you will just go whatever your friends are doing, or whatever your neighbors are doing, or whatever your society fellows are doing. But is that the achievement? Is that the goal you're looking for? Every individual have a level of talent, and if you don't explore your own talent, there is nobody in the world who's going to tell you this talent you should explore. What you know yourself, what you understand yourself, there is no one else can tell you. There may be counselors, there may be coaches, there may be teachers, there may be principals, there may be monitors, mentors, guiders. But unless and until you know yourself, unless and until you know yourself, where and what capabilities are lying inside you, then you will start taking answers. So my first request to the right people, the students, is start thinking what is your capabilities. When you think what is your capabilities, leave aside the family, leave aside the society, leave aside your friends, leave aside your colleagues, but center around yourself. Then what can you do in life? Today, whatever age you are, maybe between 17 to 21, 2, 3, 4, 5. But after 5 years, after 10 years, after 20 years, what you wanted to pursue. When you have to think about it, you need to have the right material in front of you. If you are going to cross BCom exams, and if you do not have the right study material in front of you, you may not successful in the BCom exam. Now, when you have to think for yourself, what kind of material you have to have in front of you to decide? There is plenty of information in this age available. Information which may be very limited. Information which Mr. Sami may be very limited. But you open Google Guru. It's an ocean of information. And I'm sure every one of you is aware and is practicing the information via Google. So there is nothing which you are limiting yourself. There is nothing which you have not access to the information. Now, when we are talking of coming to the main subject of higher education, what is higher education? Is a degree on piece of paper? Is that higher education? No. Higher education means a lot. Education and higher education. When you start your childhood education, you know you go to the primary school, you don't have big focus. You come to the secondary school, that is 11th and 12th. You are on the decision, and after 12, you are applying your decision. But study of the book, study inside the college is one part of the education, but there is lot much which education transpire or transform an individual's capacity. It teaches you how to live the life. It teaches you lot many things. It brings in you the politeness. It brings in you the listening patience. It brings in you the things before you speak. It brings in you analytical skill. You start thinking what is right, what is wrong. You analyze what is what. It brings you sense of social responsibility. It brings you the spirit of honesty. It brings you transparency in your behavior. It brings you respect for your words. What you speak, you be respected. If you do not speak the right words, maybe you are at the losing of respect. It brings you balance between good and bad. So education is beyond books, beyond degree, beyond classrooms. When you cross a level of education that is 12th, then you have to think now what I should do. You have a lot of information in front of you, and then you have to select what is your capabilities. In this world today, in India, you must have heard district collectors or district magistrate. How one can become a collector or a district magistrate? You all must have heard UPSC. How many of students gathered here have thought of writing a UPSC exam? Is there anyone? Great, that's wonderful. Now, you know how many students appear for writing UPSC? Yes. You know what is the qualification to write the UPSC exam? You don't know. Okay, let me begin. Anyone who has crossed 12 standard of education is entitled to write the primary of UPSC. Now look at the situation. More than 1 million people has desired and applied to appear for the UPSC exams. It's open for all. Whoever wants to write the exam can write the exam, can apply and write the exam. Out of 1 million plus candidates, only approximately 10,000 students qualified. 10,000 students out of 1 million students qualified to write the main exam of UPSC. And the people who qualify, they don't get 90%, 95%, 75%, 60%. The average percentage of passing is around 46, 47%. And the topper in the UPSC do not even cross 60%. So that is the toughness of UPSC exam with the main line. Even if you cross the main exam, then there is a process of personal interview, then there is a process of personal test. Out of 10,000 successful candidates at UPSC who scored average 47%, 20% of that is about 2,000 students are called for the personal interview or the personal test. So look at the figure. There is 1 million students who wants to become UPSC, who wants to write UPSC exam and pass. And people who appear for the personal interview and personal test is 2,000. So you can imagine the standard of their education, the toughness of their education and prospect of their education. Out of 2,000 people who are called for a personal interview, only 1,000 people get placed. 100 people, 100 candidates or 100 UPSC toppers are kept in reserve to meet emergency requirement. Where does this UPSC aspirants who pass the personal test and personal interview be placed? 73 out of these 1,000 people are placed as IAS officers. Indian Administrative Service, the short form is IAS officer. Probably I can tell you the powers, the social status and the exposure is as good as the king of the district. So education gets you that. You may not inherently become the king of the district, but education brings you that. So when you think of district collector, I don't know how many of you have the exposure of the powers and social status of the district collector or district magistrate is unimaginative for you. And look at this, 1 million people appear from the exams, only 73 people get placed to those figures. Now, 1,000 minus 73, whatever is left over, are being taken in IFS, that is called Indian Foreign Services. Wherever you go in the world, you will find an Indian embassy or Indian High Commissioner or High Commissioner of India, whichever country you go. And that position is the secondary to the IAS officer, not in terms of power, but in the selection process. Then there is an Indian Foreign Services. Then there is a service called IPS, that is Indian Police Services. Then position called Indian Postal Services. Then position called IRS, that is Indian Revenue Services, which is related to income tax, and other line of IRS is related to central excise and customs. So now think of, if you have to think of an income tax commissioner, can you imagine the power of that person? Can you imagine the position of that person? So all these positions and powers is transformed by education. I'll give you a small example. I went to Hyderabad on a social visit to meet a couple of relatives. I met a young guy of about 14, 15 years. And parents started complaining that this guy is not serious with the studies. So I asked him, why are you not serious about studying? He said, where did you get study? Where did they took study? I said, Tim Cook or Bill Gates or any other person like our Gautam Adani, they are not education qualified people, but they are entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurs means they have the risk ability, they take huge risk to become an entrepreneur, and they do not become billionaires overnight. They pass through a process. Gautam Adani started his job in a textile shop with his father. Or Dhirubhai Ambani, he was a petrol pump attendant and filling the fuel in the cars in Eden. So that doesn't matter where you come from. But when you become entrepreneur, you can hire thousands of MBAs or thousands of highly qualified people in your company. Ask them to work for you, ask them to spec for you, ask them to get what result they wanted, they expect. They are successful business people, irrespective of what they studied, irrespective of what they thought. But that fortune, if I say, all the other youth sitting here, they say, okay, Bill Gates is not studying, so let's not study. Will that work? Will that work? Like you understand the importance of education. Because you know, tomorrow, even if you start thinking as an entrepreneur, you want to start your business, by and it's a worldwide fact and the reality that Dhirubhai Ambani is top, Gautam Adani is being top. But there are millions who are not in top and even don't know when they train, how they train, where they go, what they do, where are they hiding. But if you have a bow in your arm of an education qualified degree, you become an entrepreneur, you fail, you don't lose anything in your life, you have an opportunity. You go and apply any post which you qualify yourself to apply. Maybe you get a job, you progress, and you reach to a position. At the time of introduction, I think, let me elaborate my introduction in a couple of minutes. I studied in Jamnagar at MP Shah College of Commerce and Law. I did my commerce graduation. While doing my commerce graduation, I was farmer. I live in farm. I work in farm with my grandfather and my uncle. College was a fancy thought in our mind. That was the level of awareness of education. Somehow I passed out BCom. My family wanted me to become chartered accountant. They sent me to the Bombay and start working at a company where one of my family members is learned chartered accountant. Internship. I went to the office and he asked me, what have you studied? I said, BCom. He said, okay, then he gave me a form to apply. I studied in Gujarat. I do not know how to write my own name, how to press H-A-R-I-S-H. I given I said, I don't know even how to write my name in English. How do I achieve this? Idea was dropped. I decided I cannot pursue because I cannot even read any book, I cannot read any material. Time goes, time flies. Opportunity keep coming. Started my career in export. I was given a department. In 2 days I was rejected because this boy don't know how to write or how to speak in English. So he comes work in my department. Thrown in second department. Same story. Thrown in third department. Same story. Totally demoralized. Then let's go back. And in those days, there was no motivator around. My parents were living in village, and I cannot talk to anybody because in the village there was no phone facility, forget mobile. Even if I write a letter, it may take about 10-15 days to reach, may not reach. in the same company of HARISH Export, was given an opportunity to start working in fashion industry, that is ready-made garments. I put my heart, brain, time behind it. I worked 18 hours a day, 7 days a week. Never look backward. Start interacting with the people. Start buying Times of India, Business India, India Today, and I cannot read even a one page. But I feel proud of it, that I am close to English. So, if you have self-motivation, and if you know what you wanted to do, nothing stops you. Gradually, my experience, my grasping, my capabilities made me to move to Hindustan Lever, then move to Lila Captaincy Group, all in textile apparel group, then moved to an American company, and went to Belgaum to run a textile mill, went to Hyderabad to run a textile mill, went to Chennai to start up a new project, went to Nairobi, went to Uganda to run a pharmaceutical manufacturing company. So exposure from apparel manufacturing to textile, absolute new subject. And the company was given to me to change with the target that loss-making companies should turn out to be a profit-making company. And with the challenge, I said, give me 90 days. If I don't do, I'll walk away. I did it. When I went to Uganda to the pharmaceutical manufacturing company, I was not aware what is P of pharmaceutical. But everything is at the learning. And no university can teach me pharmaceutical or my factory teach me the pharmaceutical. At the end of the 1 year, everybody started asking me, are you a pharmacist? Are you a PhD? Are you a doctor? I said, no, I'm a commerce graduate. And people feel that how do you run this kind of organization and how do you know so much of technicality of your product? I said, I studied in this college. I learned everything, every alphabet of pharmaceutical industry in this college. So learning is a never-ending exercise for the student, for the people. If you have learning capabilities, grasping powers, and to think that what is next step, what is next step? You set your target, that what you want to learn. You cannot learn everything in one go. You have to set your targets, you have to set your goals. You have to set your mind to learn. So coming back to education level, UPSC, as I say here, that rarely anybody is thinking of UPSC. Leave it. What is the next level of education? You wanted to become IIM graduate? Is there anybody who is thinking of pursuing IIM graduation? Again, one. Same guy who thought of doing it, UPSC, is thinking to go to IIM. There are 20 IIMs in India. And they have 100 plus courses in different categories. Again, here 500,000 people want to write the IIM entrance exams. Same thing, same stories. 20,000 people get qualified for the further processing. A number of vacancies are very limited. So again, you need to be really performer to get education into IIMs. ABC, IIM ABC, IIM Ahmedabad, IIM Bangalore, and IIM Calcutta are 3 highly qualified, reputed institutes in India which are recognized worldwide. Graduate from IIM can be placed in any private company, nationally or internationally, with the package starting at 2.5 million rupees. No barrier. It can go as low as 10 million rupees also per year. So the issue here is that when thousands or 1,000 people get enrolled to that kind of courses, why are we left over? Why are we not one of that 1,000? Or why are we not one of the 2,500? We don't ask why. The day when you will ask yourself, why I cannot get qualified to IIM, then you will find the ways. There are mentors, there are coaching classes, there are study materials, there is information access to you, and top of all that, your own inspiration. If you have your own inspiration, you try it out first, second, or third. Definitely, if you have a will, you will achieve it. But you need to make very strong will. And if you don't have will, don't do it. Whenever or whatever you want to do, develop very strong will for that. Run behind that. Develop madness for that. It is said in management that unless and until you develop madness to achieve something, you cannot achieve anything. In a very funny perception, if I tell you, a boy or a girl start liking other boy or a girl, and if he wanted to fall in love with a girl or boy, he or she has to develop madness, and he has to prove that he is into true love of boy or girl, something like that. But if you just time passing, you're just freaking it out, you will be rejected straight. So don't do that. If you have to achieve anything, you need to develop madness for that. Now, coming to IIT, my friend Samir is from IIT. He will definitely elaborate not many things to you. There are 23 IIT institutes in India. IIT Chennai, IIT Kharagpur, IIT Kanpur. They are the prestigious IITs worldwide recognized. Mainly concentrate on technology related or engineering related education. Getting into IIT is also a tough job. There are 200,000, that is as good as 2 lakh people wants to enter into IIT. They go through the qualifying exams, main exams, personal interviews, tests, and number of seats are very limited, hardly around 2,500 or something like that. Government at their own trying to increase IIT and IIMs. Government knows that there is a talent pool available in the country, but this talent is not transferring to the ultimate goal of developing technologists in the country, scientists in the country, or highly qualified people to run the business of technology, the business of any whatever system. So IIT, IIM, UPSC may look mirage for us, and then we give up. Oh my God, 2 लाख लड़कों को एडमिशन नहीं मिला, हम कैसे कर पाएंगे? Forget it. 10 लाख लड़के यूपीएससी में बैठा था, हम कैसे कर पाएंगे? You don't have your own confidence. If you don't have self-confidence, and if you don't have self-confidence, you cannot do anything. Leave aside these 3, come to the Indian Institute of Science, IISc. Another prestigious university, prestigious institute, very highly qualified people, they educate, and they are in big demand. These are research. They keep inducting people who are interested in research and bringing something new. There are hardly 126 in Indian Institute of Science. So Indian Institute of Science developed 120 scientists. Out of that 120, the dropout level is 30%. So more or less, hardly 80%, 80 number of people pass through and work further as a researcher or scientist or assistant scientist or whatever they can do in their life. Beyond that, there are BITS Pilani, there are XLRI, And there are many special institutes like Indian Institute of Petroleum and Energy. The big demand in the industry. And there are very few universities who are exclusively teaching you the petroleum and energy subject. Then Indian Forest Research Institute at Dehradun. I mean, if I started giving you name, the list goes around 500 specialized education universities. Now, where are we in front of these 500 specialized industries or institutes? If we are nowhere, then we need to think. We need to think as a community, we need to think as a society that why our people do not have desire, will or prospects to go to those levels. Now that may not be the issue with the subject, but that goes to the elders, that goes to elders of the community. How do we promote our youth to go and do something beyond than what they are doing right now? It's a combination, it's a work together, the elders and the youth. We need to work out modality by which we promote our people, our youth. We need to sponsor our youth. We need to find out that who is qualified for what education. It's a tedious process. It needs a long dedication. I have, beyond our community, there are many friends in Marwari communities or, South Indian communities and all. If you look at Iyengars in Chennai, there was a time 50% of the IAS officers were Iyengars. Because community driven the youth with an examples, with a motivation, they become the mentor. And like what we are seeing in our community, every fourth or fifth house there is an aspirant for chartered accountant. Same thing has happened to that community. And whenever you go to any government department, you look at under secretary or cabinet secretary, you will find every third person is from Chennai Iyengar family. Then time comes from Konkani Saraswat Brahman. Then time came from Punjabis. Now time is for Rajasthani peoples. But top of all above, if you look at out of 1,500 qualified IAS officers, maximum number of qualified people were from Bihar, surprisingly. The Verma, the Sharma, Chobe, Dubey, Tripathi, Chabe. I mean, you name it and you will find it. All the government officers of one of that community. All this community has started work from the ages. No changes come overnight. If you plant a seed, it takes years to grow and start giving you fruits, and you do not know what kind of fruits will come. So when you see the plant, you need to see that it qualified seed so that right plant grows. We as community now need to think beyond. I'll give you a conservative estimate. We are so generous, and it is been said, Vanyani Kamani Patrama Samani. Please understand. Vanyani Kamani Patrama Samani. This is how other community is looking at Vanya. We as Vanya, Jains, we are very good at constructing huge temples, huge complexes related to religious. We are tremendously good compared to other community. Maybe Swaminarayan people are ahead of us.
But we as Kanya community, we are tremendously spending money on constructing religious places. But now, if we don't build the community, if we don't build youth of our community, we will be lagging, we will be behind the communities. Whatever has happened to Bhatia community, they concentrate on business, and today Bhatia community, yes, I don't want to say that, but you all know what has happened. So, જાગવું હોય તો આજે જાગો. આજે સુતા રહેશું, સવાર થશે, જાગશું, દુનિયા આપણાથી 10 કદમ આગળ પહોંચી ગઈ હશે. આપણે સુતા રહેવું છે, જાગવું નથી, પ્રગતિ કરવી નથી, ફક્ત અને ફક્ત ઇમારતો ચડી અને ખુશ રહેવું છે કે આપણે ઇમારતો ચડી, પ્રેસ્ટિજિયસ ઇમારતો આપણા કબજામાં છે. શું ખબર કાલે ઇમારતોનું શું થશે. પણ જો યુવાનોના એજ્યુકેશનમાં આ પૈસો ખર્ચાનો હોય, હું દાખલો આપું તમને, ફક્ત મહાજન કોમ્યુનિટીનો, સંખેશ્વર હોય, ખંભાળિયા હોય, વડાલિયા સિંહણ હોય, આપણા દરેક ગામડા હોય, આપણું ઓસવાડ સેન્ટર હોય, આપણું ભિવંડી હોય, આપણું મુંબઈ હોય, મારા કન્ઝર્વેટિવ એસ્ટિમેટ પ્રમાણે ઓછામાં ઓછા 500 કરોડ રૂપિયાથી વધારે ઇન્વેસ્ટમેન્ટ આપણે આ પ્રોપર્ટીઓ પાછળ કર્યું છે, જેનો ઉપયોગ કોઈ ખરાબ નહીં લગાડતા. ધર્મ માટે મારે કંઈ બુરું નથી બોલવું, ધર્મ માટે મને કોઈ ગલત વિચાર નથી, પણ આ બધાનો ઉપયોગ આખરે છે. દિલમાં ખરેખર ભગવાનના દર્શન કરવાની ઈચ્છા હોય, 5 કિલોમીટર દૂર દેરાસર હશે, 10 કિલોમીટર દૂર દેરાસર હશે, તો બી નરને કોઠે જઈ હું ભગવાનની સેવા પૂજા કરીશ અને મારો દિવસ સ્ટાર્ટ કરીશ. મારામાં ભક્તિ અને ભાવ હશે તો હું આ કરી શકીશ. પણ દર 2 કિલોમીટર, દર 5 કિલોમીટર દેરાસર ઊભું કરવું, ભલે જેમણે કહ્યું છે ધન્યવાદને પાત્ર છે, પણ at the end of the day, what is the productivity of this money? The community has to start thinking now in new direction. Each and every penny spent on any non-productive activity will not uplift the community. Have you heard of Parsi community? Like I gave you example of Bhatia community. The Parsi community in India are migrated from Iran. Few hundred years back, they landed in Sanjan. You must be knowing the story that the king of the Sanjan sent them a glass of milk because they do not communicate, they do not know the language of each other. They sent the chief of the Parsi community a glass of milk to see his response. And that guy was so clever, so intelligent. He put a teaspoon of sugar into that milk glass and communicated a message to the king of Sanjan that we will melt in your society the way sugar melt into the milk and make the milk more tasty. So king of Sanjan liked the idea. They allowed Parsi community to put the foot on Indian earth. Over a period of time, they given total concentration on education. They have more education institute or hospitals than Parsi Agyaris. You will hardly see Parsi Agyari. If I say in Bangalore, there is only one Parsi Agyari. There is only one Parsi Agyari on Bellary Road. But in Bangalore, the Indian Institute of Science, which is on 400 acres of land, And today you think of the price of that land. It is being donated by J.R.D. Tata for the purpose of education, no other purpose. Likewise, the first cancer hospital in India was sponsored by Tata. Now, how Tata people, the Parsi people, look at the community? I had worked with the Tata in Vietnam. I was running a textile mill, and I had a budget to spend 1 million rupees every year for the nearby community. And it was compulsory on my part that I must spend that money, and there should not be balance at the end of the year. So what we did, we went to the villages and we asked villages, what's your requirements? So somebody said, sir, water resources are not there for our people. Somebody said, sir, internal roads are not good. Somebody said, we don't have this facility or that facility. And we started, okay, well, our company will sponsor that facility. Come forward. And when it said come forward, we said, we will give you rupee 1. You contribute rupee 1. It is nothing free. Almost 20 villages around that company had drinking water into the village, the medical facility into the village, the primary health centers were established. This is how Tata Company look at the community. If you see Supreme Court judges, there are a number of Supreme Court judges who are from Parsi community. If you see advocate generals in the government, if you look at the list, there were many Parsis who were advocate generals, solicitor generals, they were members of parliaments. So how these people have progressed is because of education, higher education. So I'm sorry, I'm not running out of time, right? I continue? Thank you. So, the point and the purpose of saying is, it's a time to wake up. Time to start thinking about higher education for our youth. What we have to do, why we should do, and how we should do. If we do that, we will achieve it. And to do that, whatever community support is required, I think communities should come forward, communities should be willing to do it, and communities should definitely sponsor those kind of educations. I am representative at Osman Shikshan in the answer also, and I always advocate to the body of the sun that whatever you are spending, please make sure 70% of money what you are spending is spent on education. If you have limitations of your fund that you cannot give 1 million rupees as a loan to the student, kind of a sponsor. You go for donation, right? You go for donation to the people who can donate. You go to those people and tell them that you need to sponsor one student for their education. This is the education student want to do, and these are the prospects and these are the expenses. If someone is paying 11 lakh rupees as a donation, probably you convince him to spend 11 lakh rupees for a sponsorship of a youth who can pursue to UPSC or IIM or IIT. Even if you do one, that will make sense. That will inspire other youths. So inspiration is very important, and that comes from the elders of the community. The second part of my representation always is make the community self-reliant. Don't make them to depend on all the time, free. You give a free meal to somebody and you promise him that all candidates I'll give you free meal right from the morning to evening. What will happen? What will be the impact on that person who gets free meal? He will say, then why should I work? Why should I sweat? So, we need to transform ourselves as a community to move out of the free culture. Spend the money on productive courses. Make sure that the person who is dependent on free is self-reliant over a period of time. There was a project where thought in our community that they wanted to spend about 800 million rupees at Mulu. And I said, into the sun's body, I said, why you wanted to spend 800 million rupees? I said, we wanted to build a girls' hostel. I said, how many girls you wanted to put them into that hostel? There were no answers. And I said, why is huge so big budget? They said, we wanted to make convention center. I said, then they said, we want to make a rooms like what we have on the upper floor for the people to come and stay. Because when you make a convention center, people come for the marriage or anything like that, and they need room to stay. And I said, this is 800 million rupees. Instead of spending on that small one building, you select 400 families, give each family a prospect of 2 million rupees to do their own business, small level of business. Out of 400 families, maybe 200 families will success. So this means you are eliminating 200 people out of the daily rahat. So you have a lot of surplus money. And that surplus money, you spend behind the youth to get educated. You sponsor youth to go and study at London School of Economics. You spend your money to sponsor the youth to go and study at Harvard University for the management courses. You sponsor that youth to go to the Stanford University and understand medical science, study medical science. Now those things are not getting into their mind is just because you don't understand the value of education. There is no other reason. If I understand the value of education, then I understand and then I know why I should do this. But if I don't understand the value of education, and if I say that મારો છોકરો બીકોમ થઈ ગયો ધંધામાં બેસાડી દે ગવર્મેન્ટ આટલા કમાઈ લેશે, but that is your છોકરો, because you have established business and you put your boy or girl to that business and he will run whatever level he can achieve to do, reach to do. But the person who don't have any prospect of going into the business, whose parents are working and somehow managing to ends of expenses every month, he definitely needs support for higher education. And if he get higher education, he will definitely achieve something in the life. And this is how community will transpire over a period of time to become self-reliant and self-sufficient. So this is the very power of education. That if you give education to the youth, they will make sure that the entire community is self-reliant and is not dependent on the rahat. If you are bored, if you are enough, please tell me. I can stop there, otherwise I can continue, whatever you like. Alright. So what we will do, we will continue with the question and answer hour, because I was expecting that we will have some question and answer. But unfortunately I could not write anything on the screen because there is no communication. One person is keep speaking, others are listening, half of the things are going inside. Half of the things are not going inside. This is not the way. Next time, whenever you coming or going to any such events, please start questioning. Please start knowing. And the best idea is to do brainstorm. Somebody should ask him, how can I go to IIM? Then I will feel, yes, there is an interest. There is an... One second. So, next, whenever you attend such kind of events, come prepared. Come with a piece of paper. Write 10, 8, 5, 2 questions and ask. If you don't get a reason to ask, then you will just listen. evaporate within few hours, and then as usual we are living the life. Thank you very much for listening with the patience, and definitely looking for such events in future where I wanted youths to come back with questions to know something. Thank you very much.